Hello, everybody. I'm just doing a bit of a recap slash highlight of some examples of cams that I've seen. So, in case you're stuck, here's a few different methods. The first one, as you can see, we have quite a bit of material on our Y, and let's take a look. You can see this part's at the bottom of the stock. So what this student did, we go to simulate here. They started by, let's go with the pocket. They did the pocket first, and then they moved on to facing the part to size. And the last operation, they were able to do a 2D contour all the way around the part. And this is what stands out about this particular example is that they were able to machine the thickness to size, make the pocket, and make the contour while in one operation. And as you can see, it's going to work its way down in the contour, and it's going to leave these tabs. So as it works its way around, the part isn't going to drop in, and the student only had to bandsaw those tabs off and use a sander to clean up those edges. But that's an example of getting this done in one setup. Really, you can only do this if you have excess material on the sides here. So, what's it called? It's not always going to be possible, but that's how you would use a tab function. So if you wanted to get a tab, you would go to 2D contour and you would just click this tab function, and yeah, it would just give you these tabs here. And really, another thing to point out is that you would need your material to be at the bottom here, because if you had it at the top, then you would still have all that excess on the back. So just one example. This is another student's project here. What stands out about this one, take a look at their setup. Go to simulate. So this student was also able to machine most, just about everything in one go. So they had to start off with a 2D pocket command to machine most of the profile, and they used, it seems, a 3/8 flat tool. As you can see, because they're grabbing to some material towards the bottom, they can machine all of it. The student was able to bandsaw it off as well. You know, really the big thing here, I didn't highlight the 3/8 flat. So it works its way down until most of that's gone. So the overall height of the part's 1 inch. And if we take a look here, go to inspect, measure. The height of the part is 1 inch. And in the setup, we can see that the overall stock was 1 inch 2.5. So he milled all of this, and this bottom here is what we were holding in the vise. That's how you would do that. And really, at the end, all he had to do, let's go to simulate, hit play. It's probably better to do both of them at the same time. So it's gonna rough most of that out with a 2D pocket. And then you see how there's some radiuses there. That's because the tool physically can't go fit in there. So eventually it switches over to a 1/8 flat. And so now you see it cleaned that up a little bit better too. So, yep, that's another example. This other student did what may not be practical for us in the school setting since we are kind of limited on time, but this kind of represents having multiple setups. I really like this because it starts off with this first setup. You can see the models at the top, and the student starts by doing the 2D contour, works his way down, and he only leaves what we need to hold this part in a vise. So we take a look here, we inspect it, we measure it. So the overall thickness of the part is 0.9. If we go to our setup here, it is 1" 02. So it's being held in the vise by 0.1. So he went and flipped it over to get rid of that excess material. So now we went to a second setup. So this is the top now where we missed to machine. So you see how that's inverted. And now we're going to machine this excess up here. So you do that in your setup. Everything else has been machined. So setup one, we have all the excess in our X and our Y and our Z. So when he went back in, he adjusted that by going to setup 4. He went to relative size box. There's no excess material on the sides. So he put 0 on the top. Since in our second setup, this is the top, he added 0.1. So the 0.1 right there. So the machine knows that this is the model plus the stock is 1 inch. So he just faced that, and then now he did the third side. So he went back in, and because we're not worried about machining the outside, the student was able to put this part in the vise very deep so we could machine a little more aggressively. So we go to our setup here. This really represents the process of how this part was machined, because now we take a look at our setup here and we go under fix. So there's no excess material anywhere but on the inside of this block here. Hit cancel. So now we can go to simulate, hit play. So he's just machining the insides there, and he gets all of that, and then he goes in and drills the hole there, and then he interpolates it to size, and he cuts all the way through. Really, you can notice he left this, so that was on purpose. So that was our final setup. We flipped apart in the machine, so now this is the top. So yeah, that's multiple setups. Just did that side there. These are just a few examples how you can approach your project. It just depends on how much material you got and how you want to do it. This took a lot longer to do just because as we had to flip it over, we had to teach the machine where the part was in the machine, like 1, 2, 3, 4 times. These two examples, we only had to find where the part was once. So these two are one and dones, and this required 2 setups. Well, 4 setups. Yep. So that's pretty much it. Stop.